On a lonely island off the southern coast of Nova Scotia, three unnamed women lie buried beneath the grass. No one knows exactly who they were. No families ever came for them, and for more than 160 years, the Atlantic has kept most of their story. Their graves trace back to a wreck that struck Blonde Rock in May of 1861, the Brig Triumph. The Triumph was bound from New York to Halifax, carrying a cargo of flour and a number of passengers. Somewhere off the dangerous waters near Seal Island, she struck Blonde Rock. Today, Blonde Rock may appear to be little more than a name on a chart, but over the years it has claimed many vessels, known and unknown, often with deadly consequences. Whatever happened aboard the Triumph after she struck? No one survived to tell the story. On May 8, 1861, Thorndyke Kroll, assistant keeper to the Seal Island lighthouse, and Alexander Kroll, a hired man living on the island, went for a walk after dinner along the southern shore. There they discovered wreckage scattered along the beach. Barrels of flour had washed ashore, along with pieces of a broken vessel. Heavy seas prevented them from reaching part of the wreck that still lay offshore, so they returned the following morning. And that was when they found the bodies. 3 women had washed ashore. They were the only victims ever recovered from the wreck of the Triumph. The women were buried on the southern end of Seal Island. No names, no ages, no indication of where they had come from before boarding the ship. Only the sea knows that. Among the wreckage that drifted ashore were trunks containing men's and women's clothing. One trunk held children's clothing. A quiet reminder that this disaster claimed far more innocent lives than the ocean ever revealed. Also recovered was a receipt dated April 26, 1861, showing the trunks had been shipped aboard the Triumph in New York, bound for Halifax. On part of the shattered stern, the word Halifax could still be seen painted on the planks. Years later, Winifred Hamilton recorded memories passed down by her father, who had been just 13 years old at the time of the wreck. He remembered standing on the shore with others as debris rolled in on the tide. Crates, loose clothing, broken pieces of ship. Then someone spotted a body among the wreckage. And then another, and finally a third. As the tide carried the women closer to shore, the men waded out into the surf and pulled them onto the beach. No other bodies were ever found. No survivors were ever discovered. The Atlantic had taken the rest, and the 3 women were laid to rest on the south end of Seal Island. Time passed, and the little wooden grave markers weathered away. And like so many tragedies along the coast, the story of the Triumph slowly faded into everyday life on the island. But years later, Winifred Hamilton and her daughter Mary chose to remember. With loving care, they created small cement tombstones for the 3 unknown women. Each was engraved simply, Woman, Brig Triumph, the date of the wreck, and a Bible verse. The graves were enclosed within a small wire fence near the shadow of the woods, and around them bloomed white lilies and daffodils, returning year after year beside the graves of women whose names were lost to the sea. Over time, strange stories began to attach themselves to the graves on Seal Island, stories of bodies preserved long after burial. But some believe that these tales may belong not to the Triumph, but to another wreck entirely, the Amaranth, that we'll explore later. Until next time, stay curious.